Member for McKellar.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Treasurer. Can the Treasurer update the House on how the Morrison government's certain and stable fiscal management will keep our economy resilient in the face of future challenges? Is the Treasurer aware of any threats to our economy?
The Treasurer has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I thank the member for McKellar for his question. And with her a small business background, and he chairs the House Tax and Revenue Committee, and he's absolutely committed to strong fiscal management, Mr Speaker. Now, when we came to government, business investment was in free fall. Debt was rising, and we saw unemployment at 5.7% and rising, Mr Speaker. Since we've come to government, we've actually turned that around. Unemployment has fallen to 5.2%, and we've helped create more than 1.4 million new jobs, Mr Speaker. The proportion of working-age Australians who are on welfare is now the lowest in 30 years, and the rate of real growth in government spending is now the lowest of any government in 50 years, Mr Speaker, and the budget is coming back to surplus for the first time in more than a decade. And the reason why fiscal management is important and bringing the budget back to surplus is important is because future generations should not have to pick up the tab for the last. We need to live within our means. Also, responsible fiscal management helps build resilience in the economy to deal with future shocks, as well as responsible fiscal management ensures that we can provide the services that Australians need and deserve. But, Mr Speaker, I'm asked, are there any alternative approaches? And we know that those opposite are continually talking down the Australian economy. Could you imagine now, with the challenges we face, with flood, drought and fire and the global trade tensions, what the economy would look like with Labor whacking it with $387 billion of higher taxes, Mr Speaker? They're happy to talk down the economy, but they took to the Australian people $387 billion of higher taxes, Mr Speaker. Now the member for Rankin gets up and he says he's committed to surplus, but he's also talking about bringing forward tax cuts that he opposed, Mr Speaker. He's also, I take that interjection, we voted for them. He called our tax cuts offensive, Mr Speaker. The member for McMahon said they were reckless, Mr Speaker. I mean, the Labor Party are happy to talk down the Australian economy, to tell us our tax cuts were offensive, but then when they pass the parliament, they want the credit, Mr Speaker. I mean, get real, member for Rankin. We know you want to tax a lot, but I'm thinking of taking back that knighthood that I gave you earlier, Mr Speaker. Now, the reality is the Labor Party can't manage money. The Labor Party can't manage money, and the Australian people know when you can't manage money, the Labor Party come after theirs.